Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are calling the growing drug shortage a national security risk for Americans. The nationwide crisis worsened by nearly 30% between 2021 and 2022, with last year seeing a record-breaking high of 295 active drug shortages. Cancer patients will be among the hardest hit, with 24 chemotherapy drugs currently in short supply. According to the FDA, consumers can expect that hundreds more shortages will come soon. Joining me now to discuss this is Dr. Chris T. Pernell, Regent at Large for the American College of Preventive Medicine. So, Dr. Pernell, why is this happening? What's your understanding of the source of this issue?
So whenever you have a drug shortage, you have to think about what are those root causes. And traditionally, there are four root causes. Is it an issue around shipping? Is it an issue around manufacturing? Is there a problem with a raw material or a raw ingredient? Or is there a regulatory issue? What we're finding to cause this historic, like once in a decade shortage is that we have too few manufacturers who are responsible for some desperately needed drugs, whether they are cancer drugs, whether they are antibiotics, or even children's Tylenol.
Was it affected by the pandemic in the sense that we've been seeing supply chain issues
Yes.
across a lot of different kinds of industries? Is that part of what's happening here?
Definitely it is. And it goes back to those root causes that I was just describing. If you think about manufacturing, what's been happening with these very low cost generic drugs, either they have moved to overseas production or you only have one or two companies. And when that is happening and on labeling, we don't know exactly which ingredients are being produced where. It's a root breakdown, right? You think of a bottleneck. And during the pandemic, we learned that our supply chain, not just for drugs, but for many things, was not as robust or as redundant as it needed to be.
Is enough being done to fix this? I mean, we're talking about life-saving drugs here, especially for people like cancer patients who are really, they have very few options.
Right. There are too many temporal solutions, right? You're hearing it described as an all-of-government response because this really is a very devastating shortage to the public's health. But my concern is there are too many workarounds. We're going to have to look at ways to subsidize the cost of these generic drugs. We're going to have to look at ways of understanding why there's greater demand and prescribing behavior changes. We have to look at how do we drive quality and investments in manufacturing around low profit margin drugs. So there's more that needs to be done, but it's going to cost to do it.
Yes, it's so important for so many people all around the country. Dr. Chris Pernell, thank you so much. And ahead on CNN.